Hi, it's Dino. Welcome back. Today in our mini lecture, we'll be talking about learning styles. To give you a big, broad overview, here's a definition for learning styles. When you think of individual people, they prefer a specific type of sensory method for experiencing, interacting with, and remembering new information. These predispositions, these sensory methods, are called learning styles. As you might imagine, the origins for learning styles come from a couple of different communities. Given it's about learning, it comes originally from education, and also, given the way that we think about brain functioning, it also comes from cognitive science community. Today, in this mini lecture, we'll be talking about three main types of learning styles. First, visual; second, auditory verbal; and then third, to finish up, kinesthetic tactile. First, visual. Some people who are visual learners prefer images when encountering new information. They best remember when they see pictures, maps, charts, films. When they're learning, when they're studying, it's best for them to create or study by flowcharts, diagrams, graphic organizations, etc. When they're thinking about ideas, they think often of movies and pictures rather than specific words. They have a strong awareness of aesthetics, like artistic beauty and space. Number two, auditory verbal. Auditory verbal learners prefer encountering new information in written and spoken words. As you might imagine, they best remember within, college lecture halls, written documents, and group discussion. When they want to make something and they want to study, they do it by reading, they do it by writing notes, they do it by listening to words and talking to other people. In contrast to the previous learning style, these people think of words rather than pictures. And as you might imagine, given this focus on written and verbal communication, they have very strong written and verbal communication skills. Number three, kinesthetic tactile. These people who engage in this learning style prefer encountering new information by doing. They like to do things physically. They best remember when they physically experience new information by using large and small muscle groups, moving around, touching things. They need to touch and feel content to help them learn it. When they're creating and studying, they prefer to be working in things like labs, demonstrations, and learning through play. If they want to learn, by acting out different skits, doing role playing, or trying to devise other forms of physical manipulation to master new skills. As you might imagine from this setup, kinesthetic and tactile learners work really well with their hands, and they're often, because of their tactile nature, their kinesthetic nature, they are very physically coordinated. For you to try to see what kind of learning style you have, go to this website, www.education planner.org/students/self-assessments/learning-styles.html. And once you do that, maybe think about your learning styles. Do you have one specific one? Do you have a combination? Etc., etc. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. To summarize what we've just spoken about in this mini lecture, different learning styles suit our developmental needs at different times of our lives. We're more kinesthetic and tactile often when we're a little bit younger, just because of the demands of education. We often are forced, whether we like it or not, into more written and verbal learning. As hopefully you learn from doing your own testing, we seem to learn best by combination of educational experiences, not by one single one. However, although we learn by combination, we as individuals tend toward a particular learning style as you grow up. If you are working in creating some kind of learning material for different learners, you can predict their learning style of an audience by assessing clues like their profession, skills, and hobbies. As you might imagine, lawyers would learn probably much more by text than, say, if you were doing some learning for, say, people who are working on a factory assembly line, who'd probably be much more tactile and kinesthetic in nature. Given that we learn in a combination of ways, you might want to use supporting layers of information, such as type, images, and if possible, tactile and oral experiences to help people get a combination of learning. And from this, designers can engage multiple stimuli to create a more memorable and meaningful experience. Focusing on one probably is not so useful for a wide group of people. Focusing on multiple stimuli is probably much more useful. Again, the three main types. First, visual. Second, auditory verbal. Third, kinesthetic tactile. This has been your mini lecture on learning styles. Hopefully you can join us again soon. Take care.